Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as Ornan.
At your service.
Sabrina as Sylvie.
Oh, hello.
Jordan as Mogram.
You're most welcome.
Matt as Guy.
That is my name. Don't wear it out.
And me, Paul, who shall be reading today from the 4th chapter in the book of Dodecadorcus, beginning in the 3rd verse. And they, the people, did cry out with one voice, carried nigh unto the heavens, How mayest we, the greatest of fans of thine casting of pods, helpeth thee to reach nigh unto the ends of the earth and the bowels thereof?
Amen, brother. Preach it.
And the voice of one, the master of dungeons, did speak forth in a mighty, slightly nasally voice, saying, In thine hand holdest thou the answer to thine own questioning ponderances. Therefore, take forth thine thumb, and unlocketh thy screen of thy cell phone. Thereafter, adorn thyself in thine podcasting application of the stars for thy choosing. The choice of 5 shalt be thine.
Preach.
But that is not
wisdom. Such wisdom.
His praise be.
But that is not all, saith the voice, after sippething his beverage, yea, his Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda 0. For upon yon page of the same shalt thou exclaim, yea, in written word, the praises of the guys of 12 sides, whereupon it shall be written upon the heart of the internets forevermore and unto eternity. And shouldest thou be found not wanting, yea, but found in excess of golds and of silvers and of fine linens and of spices and of breakfast cereals and of fruit bats and of orangutans. I'll skip ahead a bit. Then shalt thou traverse the webs of cyberspace to the place called patreon.com/12sided guys, whereupon thou shalt decide what amount is a worthy sacrifice, be it $2, $5, $10, or even $20. Whereupon thy reward shall be as such. For some, be it enough for character sheets. For others, the potatoes of neighbors. And for others still, maps of battle and of cities, baronies, via Severia, and even the maps of battle. And there was much rejoicing.
Woo!
Nevertheless, and notwithstanding, if thou hast the form of an angel partaken, for to rebuild Fillmore to its former glory, only after vanquishing the centaur warrior, who dost make the forest his abode, then thou art listening to the casting of pods for thee. 'Tis Chorus of the Forsaken, the 47th episode. Amen.
Man, that really got my
Hail
bush
Mary.
burning.
Amen, brother.
That really got your bush burning? Oh my gosh, that was so good.
I think Mushrooms got something for that.
You know, all of those rewards pronounced in scripture, but really the best reward is just the feeling in your heart for having supported your favorite podcast. Sorry, your favorite casting of pods. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, wait, does this mean that we're a denomination of like the Church of Dice Christ, like NADPOD?
Hey, nice. That means we're tax exempt.
I'm not like we've been paying it anyway.
I was just going to say the same thing. Wait, taxes? We got to pay taxes?
No, this is all like official records. Jordan takes care of that for us.
Yeah, we did pay our taxes and our business licensing, and we're very responsible government.
Yes. Very, very responsible. Well, welcome back to Via Severia and the 12-Sided Guys podcast in the Chorus of the Forsaken campaign. The last time that we were together, we had a random saved game. But before that, we were out in Stillwater Lake. A battle happened deep beneath the waves. A dragon was discovered, creating fog and mist that covered the lake as well as the nearby city of Myrlov. And our heroes all ventured back up out of the water and aboard the Ladyhawk, their vessel. At least the Ladyhawk is what we're calling it for now, as they continue their journey to Kladvina.
That was the quickest recap you've ever done.
That is actually my goal for all the recaps. And then I'm just like, oh, but that was important. Oh, but that was important. Oh, but that was important. So I just keep talking.
The dragon was bronze. You missed a detail.
Oh, it was bronze
That
and
was
covered
very important.
in a deep patina, having been there for decades, nay, potentially centuries.
Potentially.
Oh, man.
Okay, Paul. You put the scriptures away. You can talk like a normal person now.
All right. As we join our heroes aboard their vessel, I'm going to do something. I'm going to say it's a little different. We've done something similar in the past. Our heroes are sailing across a lake. Not Stillwater Lake. No, Stillwater Lake is long in the distance behind them. They are sailing on to Moonmire Lake, which is the lake that Kladvina is built on. The journey here has been unique, odd, boring at times, and yet also very interesting.
Ornan got some.
I'm saying just since leaving Stillwater
Got
Lake.
some ale. I got a keg of the Saxon Sisters ale here.
Oh yeah, pony
Oh,
cake.
we know you got that Sagan Sisters keg. You don't gotta tell
Oh.
us.
No, I promise. We just chatted all night.
That's what the
they're
kids are
calling
calling
it these
it.
days.
Exactly.
All three of us started to say that at the same time.
All right. Well, the journey from Stillwater Lake all the way to Moonmire Lake, to the outskirts of Kladvina, have taken some turns that you did not expect. But you're here now, as you are all standing on the deck of the Lady Hawk, gazing out across the lake in the partly cloudy, early afternoon sky. All of you think back to the trip after discovering the bronze dragon beneath Stillwater Lake and all of the things that happened since then. So there are a few things that I know that you guys wanted to make sure you discussed or did along this trip, and we'll get to those. Many nights ago on Stillwater Lake, you spent that first night camping out there on the lake so you could start your journey in the morning so it would be easier to figure out which direction you needed to travel. When first light came up, you started heading east towards the Pithrian River mouth and the city of Myrlov, which you saw early in that first day of travel.
I think it's actually quite breathtaking to see it in the morning when the sun is rising and it's catching all the fog, and it's, you know, how the fog will diffuse the light up over the walls of the city.
Hopefully the fog won't be around too much longer since, we're kind of heroes.
Yes.
Right, we are. Margrim, you're a hero.
Well, I do my best.
As you sail past Myrlov, you can see this city. This is not the largest city. It is a big city. It's definitely bigger than Beograd. It's probably about the size of Redlum, but it's built on sort of a tiered system of cliffs that stick out into the lake. As you approach, you can see the docks of what they call the Low Ward. Actually, technically, the docks aren't even part of the Low Ward. They are outside of the city wall. But you can see the docks called the Lonely Harbor. And then past that, there is a big, thick wall. And then there's the Low Ward. And that is all built right down upon the water. Then there are big, steep cliffs. To the north, you see the High Ward and the castle sticking up above the fog in some places. Then there's a tier down to the Middle Ward, and then there's another tier down to the Dark Ward and the Common Ward. And then there's another tier down which leads out of the city on grassy plains. This city seems very impregnable. Even if you were to take one of the wards, the other wards are all locked off and also higher up. So you could be shot from the higher walls down upon you. This city and the castle up at the very peak of this tiered cliff system would be incredibly difficult to take for anyone attacking. And you guys would know, just with your knowledge of the history of the area, Myrlov, at least in living memory, has never been attacked. As you sail past the docks and past the city of Myrlov. You can see there is this old rundown monastery right on the point that sticks out right as you enter the Pithrian River and start heading upriver towards Kladvina. As you are sailing along, Ornan, you and Magram find a little bit of time as you're sailing to have you find yourselves together at the bow of the ship, which is the front. I learned that from my oceanography merit badge. At the bow of the ship.
I thought it was the ow.
I thought you would have learned that in like the rowing merit badge or the canoeing, which I know we did. We have those ones too.
Yes, I did both of those. As you find yourselves up at the bow, and the fog starts to disperse as you find it's just the two of you up there at the bow.
Magram, I have a question for you. It's been on my mind the last day or so.
Sure, go ahead, Ornan.
To preface this, I've never been great at understanding the conversion of gnome to human lifespans. I think we might be about the same age. I'm 117. And so what would that... And how old are you?
Goodness. I think I am 58 years old this year. Honestly, I've lost track. I don't really take time to celebrate my birthday or anything. But yes, I'm getting a bit old, a bit advanced in age, if you will.
Yes, I feel that too. I feel like adventuring is a young man's game, and I often find I wonder if I might be kidding myself, going off on an adventure at my age, especially after such a poor showing underwater. I worry that I might be dragging you all down.
Oh, well, you know, I certainly, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel pretty confident in saying that we have only ever been grateful for your assistance and your help in whatever predicaments we have found ourselves. And in combat, you have certainly carried your weight and then some. And that's not just a pun about the bag of holding that you seem to be carrying.
Oh, it looks heavier than it is. It only weighs about 20 pounds, which about half of what I weigh.
Wait, you only weigh 40 pounds?
On a good morning, I weigh 44.
Good grief, you are very light. That is quite impressive. No, when it comes to adventuring, though, to be serious, as someone like myself, and I perhaps would imagine for you as well, when you get a little bit more advanced in age, there is something important about having purpose in your life. The reality is that if you don't have a reason to continue to get up in the morning, it feels that the quality of your life will quickly degrade, and all of the aches and all of the pains will come rushing in and will catch up to you quickly. But if you have a purpose that drives you, then I think that there is something about that which truly makes life worth really living.
I understand that, and I feel like I have another calling. I had another career before this, and as soon as this is over, I plan on settling back down and perhaps opening my own brewery.
I can respect this. Did you feel sufficiently satisfied with that calling or career?
I had plenty of happy days. I think it's a good life, and I think it would provide for my family well. But I just wonder if maybe I'm getting too old for all this, and perhaps the right call would be to settle down and finally start that brewery. I have plenty of money now.
Yes. Well, I think that could be something that you could indeed look forward to. I've thought about it myself every now and then. Do I put down roots and just become kind of a small town physician and help, people with whatever ailments that they may have? Honestly, it's felt that, or at least for me, it has seemed that wherever I go, some sort of trouble or catastrophe seems to show up. Nothing quite as intense as what we've experienced over the last few months, but it seems that I'm always just a step or two ahead of some sort of issue, and I've never quite felt safe in relation to the Krahenest. They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
I can understand that. Well, my time in the Inquisition, while perhaps not as dark as yours, was also filled with some crazy adventures. I'm glad to have that behind me, but these days with you all have been just as eventful as my time with the Inquisition.
It has certainly been eventful. I wish I could say that the things we've experienced recently were some of the darkest things that I've ever experienced, but the truth is, when I was with the Krahenest, during my time kind of on deployment with the Krahenest, I saw and experienced things that felt far worse than this.
Magram's seen
Probably Magram's done some too.
and lots of piss.
What percentage of Ornan's weight can he lose in the morning when he takes a really good? That's what I'm wondering.
Well,
He's only
I
40
think
pounds.
We discussed
Oh my
that elf poo is like pellets.
Yeah.
I'm sure gnome poo is real similar.
Yeah.
It's sand. It's a sand.
It's
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Well, hey, Magram, as you start talking about the Krahenest, not to derail the conversation, but you recognize that very soon, coming up along this river, you will pass relatively close to the Krahenest Forward Command, where you spent a lot of your time. Just wanted to point that out as you are continuing to talk with Ornan.
I think Magram is hyper aware of that fact too, and he's not tried to outwardly show any anxiety, but he's certainly nervous. And if the team were thinking about stopping in Myrlov or anywhere in the nearby environs, he wouldn't be leaving the boat.
Okay. Ornan, make a perception check or an insight check as you are having this conversation with Magram.
Ornan got a 20 insight.
20 insight. You can definitely sense the unease. And I'll say with a 20 insight, you having also been part of the Inquisition, even though you were, underground, you have heard about the Krahenest Forward Command multiple times. And you imagine that's probably why he's acting a little bit anxious.
No need to be anxious. They're not going to check every keelboat that passes. We'll be on our way soon.
Am I that obvious?
Well, we come from a similar background, fleeing the Inquisition. Perhaps I noticed it more because of that.
It's just that we're so close to the heart of all of that stuff. And, we did not leave on the best of terms. I'm under no illusion that I was anyone important, but nevertheless, it's still something that I do not relish the possibility of having some sort of an altercation with those individuals.
I completely agree. I didn't leave on good terms either. And Ornan will wave his stump and say, but I also wasn't anyone of import. Just a new recruit. Just moving my way up the ranks.
But you are important to me, Ornan. And then he cups your face in his hand.
It's because I'm scratching your back with this stick, isn't it? That's you're so sweet to say that.
No, but I am very grateful for the friendship that we have developed over this last little while. It is rare for me to have that, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Well, the feeling's mutual, Magram. And it's my turn now, so here's the stick.
Okay. You get it up here by the shoulder blades? It's the shoulder
yes,
blades are the
right.
worst for me.
Right here, in the crick of the neck, right there on the shoulder blade.
Dude, now my back itches. Stop.
Right there at the top of the crack.
Right at the top of the crack.
Right there at the top of the crack. As you guys were sharing this moment many, many days ago, Mogram and Ornan, you guys were sitting on the bow and you both saw the kind of this semi-permanent forward command of the Krahanest.
Guy will call out as we're getting close and just say, "All right, everybody, act super casual. It's like Lamplighter Central there."
As you floated on by a few days ago, you could see the Krahanest forward command. You could see that it was semi-permanent. There was this stone wall, large castle walls built around like a big field, and you can see inside that there were a few permanent stone buildings, but the majority of the space was left open for things like tents and for pavilions, for an army that is ready to move. Some of this had become more permanent over time, but the majority of it was still just sort of a shell for the Krahanest forces to be sent out where they were needed. As you guys were floating by, Mogram was nervous. Ornan was there with him, sharing this moment. You guys noticed that the forward command was relatively empty. You could tell that there were a few people walking the walls. You could tell by their black cloaks and their black hats. They weren't necessarily wearing their Plague Doctor masks, but you saw lots of crossbows in places, ready to defend this structure. But you could also see over the walls in places, just because the way that the land rose and fell, you could tell that the building, that the field inside of the walls was mostly empty. Less than a quarter of it was actually taken up with any kind of tents. The Krahanest was, for the most part, not there. How did Mogram take that?
I think his visage kind of grows a bit dark. He kind of scowls, and for him, he's thinking they're on deployment and more than usual. So he's concerned that probably indicates that there is probably some war or near war that might start erupting.
Okay. You continued to float on for the rest of that day. 16 hours of floating down.
Float on already.
Already. We're all floating.
I crashed my car
we've
into
done
a
that
cop
before.
car the other day.
We've done this before.
I know.
I stand by it.
I said the exact same thing last time. You guys continued to float on the rest of that whole day. You were approaching the city of Corbuli. It's spelled Corbului, but it's pronounced Corbuli. One of those weird things.
You know, in France, they pronounce it Corbelu.
Yep.
Yes, it's Corbuli.
Corbului.
Yeah, Corbului.
Nice. There you go, Guy.
Very good. But as you guys were approaching...
Thank you. I did a good job of pronouncing fake French.
As you guys were approaching this city of Corbuli, Sylvie, you see that Annalise was sitting atop the cabin at the stern of the ship, and you found yourself there with just her, nobody else in earshot, as you had a conversation.
Nice. I'm assuming at this point we already talked about the dragon, so I would just kind of walk up and sit next to her and just say, "Well, we saw a dragon. I think we might have actually saved a dragon. That was something I never expected to see."
Yeah, a dragon. I heard tales. It's one of those things, and you guys would know this as well. Dragons are so rare that it's almost like, do they really exist? You know, like we know that there's crazy things out there, but I mean, dragons, do they really exist, or did they exist at one point and now they're all gone, or something like that? So to see a dragon in real life with your eyes was quite unique in this world. Annalise said, I kind of wish I had been down there to see it with my own eyes. Bronze, you say, right?
I believe so. There was I've heard it called a patina coating the dragon, so it was a little bit difficult to tell, but it looked to be bronze, and as Mogram healed it also looked to be, well, healed.
Yes, so you guys already kind of filled her in about the dragon and everything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as soon as we came back up on the ship, Guy would have been like, Annalise, there was a dragon. And then he would go over to Duchess and be like, Duchess, I saw a dragon.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, I feel like.
Rancible, there was a dragon.
Stormhoof, screw you.
I just took a sip of LaCroix and I almost spit it out. Oh my god.
She says, yeah, I've been thinking about what you told me and what Mogram said about the dragon, and the dragon like becoming more restful, its eyes moving in sleep as it... She looks at you, Sylvan, she says, do you suppose it was dreaming? What do you think dragons dream about?
I imagined flying. I dream about flying, and I'm not even a dragon. I guess maybe they dream about burrowing or swimming. Maybe that's why he's under the water.
Well, you said he had wings, but one of them was broken. I wonder if that dragon will ever fly again, if it ever wakes up. But I have been thinking a lot about it, and the more I think about it, tales tell of bronze dragons and of them finding worthy causes and fighting for what's right and being heroes of legend and helping heroes of legend. And it seems like all of the stories that I have ever heard of bronze dragons all speaks of them doing unimaginable good in the world. And for you to help one, I think you guys have done some good in the world.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I hope when the time comes we can have a dragon on our side. Like, I would not mind that at all. But I guess what I wanted to kind of say to you is that, I mean, I don't disagree that we need to use magic carefully, but seeing this dragon and being able to not only be there, but to help it kind of reinforced my feeling that there's so much good that we can do with this power, and I don't think it's fair or right for your god or anyone god, I guess, to decide who gets to use it or not. And again, I don't disagree that we got to be careful, and I appreciate your wisdom on this, but I don't know. This was pretty cool. I never expected to see a dragon. Not in my lifetime.
Make a persuasion check.
It's doing it. Okay, that is an 8. Hey.
As she's sitting next to you, she kind of gazes out over the river. The fog and mist had ended hours before. Basically, right before you got to the Krahanest forward command, the fog and the mist had all kind of lifted. But yeah, as you were sitting there a few days ago, she just kind of looks over at you and she says, "You all have made me rethink some things, and for that, I'm grateful." And then she kind of looks back out over the river and kind of becomes lost in thought again. And as you continue to sail, you can see Corbuli in the distance. The city was lit up along the docks, and you guys could see that the houses had lights in the windows. You could see that there was a castle that was built towards the docks, but surrounded by a moat. You could see that there were fields on either side. Corbuli is the city where the Pithrian River ends, and or I guess where it begins, as the Hydra River, which is a series of small streams and rivers that all coalesce together to form the Pithrian River. That is like the last stop where larger ships can continue on towards Kladvina. At this point, people would have to switch ships because you start entering swamps and bogs, and you never know when the water's going to be too shallow for like a really a low keel, a long high
I think they're
keel.
called low riders.
A deep hole, a low rider, yes. When a low rider would actually scrape along the muck and the bottom of these bogs and get stuck. And as it so happens, Corbuli is kind of the perfect place to stop on this night because it's starting to get dark. So as you approached Corbuli, the decision was made to anchor up at the quay and to find lodging for the night. As you guys were walking through the city, again, you guys were, as you're thinking back on this, I think this is a moment that all of you agree. This was a moment that changed your trip in an unexpected way.
So it's spelled Corbului, but everybody calls it Corbuli. So it's a weird town. But what's awesome is the center is called Tollister, and they have some really good clothing stores here. I like to shop at Tollister.
What a cool place.
You seem like the kind of person that would shop at Tollister.
I actually used to be a salesman here, but they just had me wear pants and no shirt.
I can see why.
I prefer Nordstrom Torture Rack.
It's funny, for whatever reason, the story of the Crystal Codex was really big that year, and so we were selling sweater vests like crazy.
Damn.
I've always found those so ugly. I can't imagine anyone wearing that.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta get the right wool, otherwise if you don't wear the shirt underneath, it totally chafes your nipples.
I was going to try to make the other wards something to do with Abercrombie and another one to be with Finch. Finch or Finch?
Nice.
Wait, you really
nice.
did that on purpose? That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, this night, the stars were out. The clouds had cleared. You guys were all aware that this was kind of the last stop before you entered into the bogs and the stinky, stagnant river that would take you to Kladvina. But you got off of your ship onto the West Wharf, and you found an inn called the Lounging Lion.
After taking the horses for a good walk around the city.
Sure. Yeah. You guys found some traders. There's a couple of different markets and things. But you guys all wound up back at the Lounging Lion. You decided to have some drinks and have some dinner. You were talking with each other and just enjoying some time off of the boat. And I need everyone to make perception checks.
Ornan got a 1.
Sylvie rolled a 16.
You got a 12?
And Markham got a nat 1 for a 6.
Gee, we had 2 nat 1s on this roll.
Really good night tonight, guys.
Wait, don't you have your shield? Come on, you have advantage on perception, don't you?
I mean, I do, but I'm not wearing it right now. We're having drinks at the inn.
That's right.
Oh, okay. You're right.
As you guys were sitting there and having some drinks, just kind of lost in your own conversation and thinking about all the things that had happened the day before as you were swimming at the bottom of the lake, Sylvie, you spot a man who has been keeping an eye over on your table, and you spot him a long time before he wanders over to your table. Did you let anyone know, or did you just kind of keep your eyes open as you noticed this man glancing over?
Do I have any feeling is he glancing at me? Is he checking me out? Is he glancing at Guy? Is he checking Guy out? Is he glancing at all of us? What's his vibe?
So his vibe is he's a middle-aged man. He's got kind of dark gray hair. He's got a lighter gray beard and mustache, but well trimmed. He's wearing traveler's clothes. They're not all beat up and ragged or anything like that, but they're not fancy. He looks dressed for the weather.
Guy, I think that guy is into you.
He seems rugged, but not wild.
He looks like he could be a good time, if you know what I mean.
Guy, trying to be super chill, won't look over at him and be like, so what? Is he a zaddy?
I would describe him as rugged. A little wild, but not too wild.
Oh. I'll look.
Okay. Yeah, and you spot this man. He's glances over at the table, notices you all looking in his direction. And so then, as you watched, he wandered on over. He says, hello, you mind if I share your table?
Sylvie will scoot over so he can sit next to Guy.
Have a seat, sure. There's plenty of room.
Yeah, he sat down and you guys started talking. As you were having this conversation with him, you found out his name is Anthony. He lives up in Kladvina, and he is looking for a ride up that way. As you guys get to talking, he talks about what he does back home and how he has to travel with different caravans and things. He helps facilitate trade between the cities. He is interesting in his conversation. I'll have everyone make an insight check as well as he continues to talk to you. But bottom line, he asked you if there was a possible way he might hitch a ride with you up to Kladvina. And the reason he gives is the Hydra River can be treacherous, not so much in its flow, but in its mystery.
Girl, same.
You may end up taking a wrong turn. If you're not careful, you might end up at Silstones or Soggy Field, or you might head the wrong way and go towards Dead Moss Hollow. I can get you through the bogs. I've been this way plenty of times. I don't want to walk back to Kladvina. I'd much rather ride.
Guy got a natural 1 for a 2 on his insight.
Hey, Sylvie got a natural 1 for a 1. Cute.
Ornan got a 17 insight.
Ooh, 19.
Oh, nice. Wait, hold up. Can I just say, looking at the list of rolls, we all rolled a nat 1 in a row. Every single one of us.
That's true.
That is true. Hey, I'm going to screenshot that real quick.
That is awesome.
Proof that Roll20 is broken.
It's actually pretty impressive.
We're really great. We're killing it at this game.
That's awesome. All right. Yeah, Ornan and Magram, as you guys were talking with Anthony, you guys got a feeling about him. You weren't sure if it was like he's a salesman. He's just kind of got that little bit of bravado that maybe puts you off a little bit. Maybe he's a little bit arrogant or something, but there's something that he's not necessarily telling you per se. But I will say it's not necessarily a good enough reason not to take him along. So, do you guys take him along? Do you let him show you the way to Kladvina?
Okay, so Paul, I would like to, just in talking with him, I know that my insight wasn't great, but this is something I would do with anybody approaching kind of out of the blue like this. I'll say, so you said you facilitate trade. Would that by any chance be potatoes?
Ooh.
He says, oh, no. We're talking textiles like wool and other hardy fibers and cloths.
I will, I'll just nod my head and turn back to the table and whisper over to Sylvie and say, he's clean. He doesn't know thieves can't.
Well, if Guy says he's clean, I don't mind having him on the ship. I don't look forward to putting my head in a bog to see the way through.
Actually, first off, before this trip, I know that some of you had probably been up this way, but Guy, had you ever sailed yourself up this way? Had you ever gone past Corbuli and into the Hydra River?
I'm going to say no. There probably wouldn't have been a reason to. I mean, Kladvina's a big city, but seems like there's a lot more opportunities with what I needed further south.
So Anthony keeps talking about how, the path, it switches, it changes as waters flow and islands move, as banks break down and erode and new banks rise up. It's a maze, but I tell you, you need somebody who can get you through, and I'd even pay passage.
And you'll pay more if there's blood.
Again, Magram, Ornan, there's just something that's not right.
Perhaps we discuss it amongst ourselves, friend, and then we get back to you a different time.
I will tell you this. We have a lot of horses. Like, so many horses.
Well, I travel light. I don't have anything I'm taking with me.
That's great, because I have a really wussy horse that you could use.
I'm not in the market for a horse. Not in the market, but I just got to get to Kladvina as soon as I can. I've got other business to do up there.
What's waiting for you in Kladvina?
More business.
You said business in the textiles?
Yes.
Oh, with whom?
Traveling awful light for having business up there.
Oh, I'm going to go get another shipment to take back down the river.
Ah, a smuggler. Is that what you're doing?
No, he's not a smuggler. He doesn't know the language.
Oh. I don't know why I don't trust you then.
Oh, who are you meeting up in Kladvina?
Hey, listen, friend, I understand you may not trust me, and
I was just curious. I know the names of many of the textile artists up there. I was just curious who you were working with.
Oh, I work for Vandalay Industries.
Vandalay, why is that familiar?
You guys can I'll make insight checks.
That sounds really familiar. Hold on.
Don't Google it.
Vandalay.
Use your brain.
You got a 7 insight.
Sounds good to you.
Mogram got a 22 insight.
Sylvie got a 5.
Ornan got a 16 insight.
Again, Mogram and Ornan, you guys, there's just something kind of shady about this guy.
Honestly, the Bloodhound thinks he's fine. I think he's great.
Regardless if he's fine or not, like when this is just between us.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's fine, we have secrets. We don't want to get out. We're traveling Danon's out with the horses right now. Who knows what her opinion would be? Annalise, you saw how she reacted last time we were in a city. She was pretty skittish about her exit from Redlum. So I don't know. He seems fine. He seems legit. But I just, our situation, I'm not sure I want to bring on another passenger.
I 100% agree with this.
I'm inclined to agree.
Although, I don't know how to get through the Hydra River.
I'm sure we can buy a map.
You had heard that there are way markers. They've put stones in place for you to follow. But again, like what Anthony was saying is potentially if the rivers have changed and flowed in different directions, then there's a possibility that the way markers might not be pointing in the right direction. But you also know that Pithria does keep up this waterway relatively. They traverse it a lot to make sure it's all running as smooth as possible to sail through a bog.
Plus, I have this spyglass to help us see those waystones, so I think we'll probably be able to navigate it.
Also, there's gotta be another captain out there. Maybe one who burns down his own ships on occasion, but there's gotta be another captain out there.
Did you love She-Ra so much?
I love She-Ra. Just finished it for the 3rd time.
Oh, gosh.
That's funny because I was actually watching it with my youngest. We're in the last season right now. Seahawk is so great. Adventure!
I can't wait to talk to her about it. She should come hang out with us.
So as you guys are having this conversation with Anthony, it seems to me that you all, as a group, decided that maybe you didn't need him along, that maybe he was going to be more trouble than he was worth, and you send him on his way.
Good luck finding another boat.
Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. And he wanders off back into the Lounging Lion to find some other captain who would be taking him down the river. You spend the night in the Lounging Lion Inn.
Is the innkeeper named Little Lola Lop?
No.
Left leg,
like
lounging
lazy
lion.
lion.
Oh, lazy lion. Dang it.
lion
I was so
licks
close.
a lollipop.
Licks a lollipop, yeah. That's Dr. Seuss's ABCs.
You all went to sleep that night, sleeping in some very comfy feather beds. The mattresses are big. The bedrooms are cozy. As you all went to bed, it was just a very enjoyable trip down the river. Never thinking that tomorrow would be so much different.
Okay, hold on. Was Vandalay a Seinfeld reference?
Yes, it was.
I'm it was racking my brain,
business.
and
it was when George was trying to get unemployment, and so he said that he was looking for a job. He had an interview with Vandalay Industries.
I wasn't certain. but I kept thinking Seinfeld, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm thinking Seinfeld and Vandelay, so I had to throw it out there.
And I was thinking Vidalia, which is a kind of onion.
I know that because of Steven Universe.
Yeah.
God, Matt, I want to hang out with your kids. I bet they have cool taste in shows.
Steven Universe is great. We've watched that multiple times.
Well, you guys all jumped back onto the Lady Hawk that next morning and you set sail again. You are in this lake called the West Lake. It's kind of where the Hydra River kind of bulges and becomes the Pithrian River. So you're at this West Lake, which is where Corbuli is. Guy, you pilot the ship up the Hydra River, and as you started that day of travel, you saw instantly streams and tributaries coming and joining with the river that you were on until you were traveling on a river or a stream or a waterway that was very hard to tell where the main channel was. It seemed to you at times that these branches of the river were actually wider than the branch that the Waystones told you to follow. But you decided to make sure you followed the Waystones and did your best to get to Kladvina by the safest route possible.
Did they do a wacky races and switch the signs?
Late into the afternoon, you are paddling along and you came to a branch, and it was a place where two of these rivers formed together to form what you were just on, and you don't know to go left or right. And as you are looking for the Waystones, you couldn't find them.
I used my spyglass.
You pulled out your spyglass, you start looking for a Waystone, and you couldn't find it. You realized at that moment you were lost. Guy, what did you do when you found out you were lost?
Hey, Danon. Danon, you know the wilderness really well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you know how nature provides for you. Do you think nature could provide for us right now? I can't find the Waystone. I don't know which branch to take. And I'm nervous to try to pull off to either side of the river at this point. Just going to try to keep us steady here in the middle. Do you have any ideas?
Do some Google Bats for us.
Yes. Google Bats.
Let me see. I'm trying to remember if she can even fly yet.
Technically, bats are just mice with some extra skin. Like, come on, man. We're not asking her to turn into a dinosaur.
She is not capable of turning into a creature that flies, but she does say, let me check out the river. Don't go anywhere. I'll swim down both tributaries and see if I can figure out which way we're supposed to go. And she leaps off the side of the ship, turning into a giant sea eel as she wriggles down through the bog, leaving you all here, just now the five of you, along with all of your mounts. As you waited there for Danon, you waited for an hour or more before she returned. What did you guys talk about during that time? Does everybody know that you don't know where you're going, Guy?
I would be upfront with the fact that, hey everyone, the Waystone is missing. I wouldn't say I'm lost. The Waystone is missing, so Danon's going to scout ahead for us for a little bit. So we're going to try to hold it steady. I'm going to need all your help.
Well, I'm glad you asked for directions, Guy.
I think Mogram would hear that and be like, "Oh, okay, this must happen sometimes."
Everyone's taking it pretty chill. Even Annalise just kind of sits back and nods. As you guys were waiting for about an hour, then suddenly this giant sea eel leaps up out of the water onto the deck and turns back into Danon.
Oh, good. For a second there, I thought you were a normal sea eel, and it was a 50-50 chance. I thought I was going to have to kill you.
Well, that would have been a bog eel. They're very different. Oh, I said that would be a bog eel. They're very different.
Oh, yeah.
As you guys were waiting, Danon jumped back up onto the deck. She says, I did not see a waystone, but down this right branch, there is what looks like a lodge of some kind. If we wanted to go that direction and ask for directions, I think that would be our best bet.
Did it look like it was currently occupied or
Smoke
just
coming from the chimneys.
Oh, all right. What do you say, everyone?
I think that a nice, safe place and maybe someone who's a local would not be a bad idea.
It was also this night. It was getting late. Like it was the sun was starting to go down. So this was your best bet to get some kind of direction. Otherwise, you would have to stay here in the night. And you're out in the bog, and you know that there are things out in the bog, things less savory.
Especially as we get closer and closer to Jib-Jab's influence.
Good point. Why doesn't everyone make an insight or everyone make a perception check, actually? Perception, I'll have you guys, you can make perception or you can make arcana or nature check.
Ooh.
Guy got a dirty 20.
Sylvie got a 22.
Mogram got a 13.
Ornan got a 14.
Guy and Sylvie, on this day as you were paddling up the river, both of you felt something different. There was something in the air that wasn't there the day before. And Sylvie, I think that you recognized, if you were to put it into words, the only way that you could think to describe it would be like a bubble of something unnatural, like in your vision, in your dream that you had of Jib-Jab. And I think that Guy, you only recognized it because Sylvie had told you all about her dream and that bubble of influence and unnaturalness. Guy and Sylvie, you both feel it. You feel it as you start heading further up the river. You felt it as you were approaching Kladvina. And now, as you started going down this right branch of the river, both of you felt it getting worse and worse until it stopped. That feeling, you almost got used to it, and then it was gone. And up ahead, through the trees, you can see that there is a sort of a place that you can beach your boat, and you can see in the distance the lights of a small lodge or cabin of some kind. I am going to show that to players.
That looks haunted.
So this is an old home. It looks like it's built up on stilts to keep it out of the water that rises and falls. You guys could see that there was some smoke coming out of some chimneys.
I feel like it's the kind of place where Ash would cut his hand off with a chainsaw. I'm just guessing here.
Yeah, I can see that.
You did notice that on the porch out in the front, there was this old woman. She was Asian. She had white hair. She was wearing a wool dress held together with like a rope belt. She had a cloak about her thin, frail shoulders. And she watches you all as you approach.
Oh there, lady. Good lady of this cabin.
Oh, hello.
I think we're lost.
I should say, I think you're lost too. Are you looking for a place to stay for the night? Maybe a meal?
Does this happen often?
Oh, more often than you'd think. Come on in. Come on, get out of the muck. And she goes and she opens the door and walks into the building, expecting you all to follow.
Sylvie will follow, but as she enters the building, I want to know if there's any, I kind of want to do a quick investigation, make sure this woman is what she seems, the house is kind of what it seems.
Okay.
I will hold off on going in to talk with Danon for a second, and I'll say, Danon, are you all right staying out here with the animals until we've figured out what we're going to do for the evening?
She is looking around. She almost didn't hear you at first. You remember thinking, that's odd, I'm standing right here next to her, but she seemed distracted when you went to go talk to her, and then she looks at you and she said, oh, yes, yeah, I'll stay out here with the animals.
Do you feel it? Do you feel
Do
it
you
too?
feel that? I do. I do.
I think the only thing I can describe it as is almost like a release of some tension. Is that how you would describe it?
Like a good fart.
I'm not. Yes, like a good fart, but I'm not sure if it was positive or if I should be on edge.
She rolled a natural 2. She says, I don't know if it was good or bad either, but yes, I will stay out with the animals.
Okay, and Pranzel will stay out with you too. He's a fantastic little assistant boy. Okay, we'll figure things out. We'll come let you know as soon as we know anything.
Okay. Annalise goes in, and she is now inside the building. As you all move in, okay, so Sylvie wanted to make an investigation check. You walked in and you saw what looked like a small tavern of some kind. There was a bar in front of you as you walked in. You could see that there were tables lining one wall. There was a fireplace at the far end, shelves with alcohol and bowls ready to be filled with food, some freshly baked bread. Also, you see that apparently this old Asian woman is not the only one here. There's also an old white woman who is behind the counter.
Well, Sylvie rolled a classic 1 for investigation.
Nice. You notice that this white woman has white hair as well. She is dressed very similarly. The Asian woman says, my name's Orchid, and this is my sister Daisy. Please come in, have a seat.
Are there any other patrons in the building?
There are none.
This is kind of off the beaten path for a tavern. Do you get a lot of business out here? Or just people who seem to have taken the wrong path down the river, like us?
People find their ways here all the time. There are others around who, every once in a while, they like to come and share a meal. Don't bother talking to Daisy. She doesn't speak. And you see Daisy just kind of nods, the woman behind the counter. Orchid says, my sister Violet's making some stew. You should all come in and have some stew.
Is that because you only have one old lady voice?
What are you talking about? It's me, the other old lady. Oh, I'm an old lady too.
Why the hell is there a crow in the room?
Old lady number 2, you sounded like a parrot.
Brock?
Exactly. I think you even started with Brock.
I think I did too.
Ornan hasn't entered the building yet, and it looks like Mogram hasn't either.
Yeah.
Ornan's going to lean over to Mogram and say, I get a bad feeling about this place. Perhaps we just ask directions and be on our way.
Yes, it seems a bit strange, no? I agree.
Okay, so Annalise and Sylvie and Guy are inside. Ornan and Mogram are still outside. Sylvie and Guy, as Orchid is talking to you, you see an old black woman come walking out, dressed again very similarly to the other two, wearing wool clothes. It looks like probably stitched themselves. She also has white hair. She comes out holding she holds a tray with 3 bowls of stew on them. And she, it doesn't take you much perception to notice that she appears to be blind. As she comes out, she's feeling the countertop and she's kind of turning her head, listening for voices, and then she plops a bowl down on the bar pretty much right in front of Sylvie. She continues on and hands one kind of in the direction of Guy, and then she turns and hands one to Annalise as she then moves back, shuffling back towards what must be the kitchen. That's my sister Violet. She does the cooking.
This is quite the place you have here.
Yes, we have a loft up above too if you need a place to stay for the night.
Well, we really appreciate the hospitality. Tell me, how far off are we from the main river heading to Kladvina?
Oh, not far, not far. I want everyone to make perception or insight checks.
Guy got a 9 perception.
These women seem incredibly kind.
Yeah, they do.
Ornan got a 10 insight.
Jesus, Sylvie also got a 10 insight. I f***ing love these ladies. They're the best.
Ooh, Mogram got a 23 insight.
Mogram, stop being such a stink in the mud. Get in here. Try some of this soup. It's delicious.
Yeah, Ornan, I think with your 10 insights, you're like, you should be feeling weird about this, but it doesn't feel off. Mogram, you get a feeling that this is not as it appears. And with your 23 insight, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck start to rise as you sense danger.
Auntie Ethel.
Guys, I think we should be leaving now. I just remembered there's something back this way that we need to take care of.
Orchid says, "Oh no, come on in, sit down. There's time."
Oh, I am very sorry and thank you for your hospitality, but no, seriously, there is a matter very important that it deals with the
your dreams? Does it deal with your dreams?
Oh dear.
You see Violet comes back out of the kitchen. So now you have these three old women here in this common room. She says, come in.
What do you mean dreams?
She looks at you and she says, "Oh, I think you're all too smart. I think you've already seen through this little display, but we'll keep it up for now."
I'm going to stand up and I'm going to draw my fan.
Oh, put that away. Put that away. Trust me, this is a time for conversation, not a time for violence.
Converse.
Let's converse outside with our colleague Magram. Sylvia will take a step towards the door and see if they stop her.
You're every bit as safe in here as you are out there. I promise.
Great. I would love for you to be every bit as safe out there as well.
You see Orchid look towards her sisters. Even though Violet is blind, you still see her turn her head towards Orchid in like some sort of like a connection that they have. They all kind of look at each other, and Orchid says, "Very well, I'll come out on the porch. Sisters, I'll be back." And then she follows you back out onto the porch.
Jeez. All right, spill it. What do you mean dreams? We're not in the mood to play games, and we're not in the mood to beat around the bush.
My sisters and I have been here for a very, very long time. And times change. We all know this. Things come to pass, things fade away. Even out here, the waters come and the waters go. The rivers get closer and they go further away. That's the nature of living in a swamp. But something has changed recently that we don't like, that we need to stop. We could deal with the first one, the restless dead. But now, and she kind of looks at you, she kind of squints her eyes at you guys, and she says, "You feel it too, don't you? You feel their auras, you feel their power, you feel it hitting and reverberating. You feel it changing. It used to be that we had power in this bog, but now we don't. And we need it back. And we've been waiting for you." As she said that, you got the impression that she wasn't talking about specifically you guys, but something about you. And it didn't take long for the idea of the dreams to click. You all can change what's going on. In fact, I believe that's what you're trying to do already. We want to help you.
Well, that was a wildly ominous way to offer help, dude.
I don't think they can help it, Sylvie. I think it's in their nature.
That's fair. Sometimes folks are just ominous. I get that.
I don't think they're folks.
We could drop our disguise, but I think this would be more pleasant for you.
We
mean you no harm. We want to help.
Tell me, you mentioned the dreams. Are we the first to have had these dreams to cross your path?
My sisters and I, we've been searching for a way to stop this. And it keeps coming up that only dreamers can stop it. Imagine our surprise when we saw you in our mirrors this morning. We would help you if you'll accept it.
Was Anthony one of yours?
Anthony?
He seemed really keen to get on our boat.
Oh, lots of people need to take a ride. No, Anthony was not one of mine. However, and she reaches into her pouch and she pulls out a necklace. And the necklace has this strange jewel hanging from it. As you look at it, you recognize it looks like a lacquered, glossy eyeball. We would appreciate it if you would be one of ours, purely to help us help you.
No. I already got plenty of spooky ladies in my life. I used to date a worshiper of Baal.
How am I supposed to respond to that? She seems taken aback, and then she looks over at you, Sylvia. She says, what about you, little one? Would you help us so that we can help you?
No.
Oh. She looks over at you, Ornan. She says, will you allow us to help you? This evil must be stopped.
I understand that, but I'm wary of accepting a gift that clearly has barbs in it.
She looks at Magram. And you, Krahanest?
You want me to consider accepting this gift. And what is it that I receive for this gift?
When the time is right, we'll know. And then we'll help in any way we can. Think of this as a bell. A bell that will ring and alert us to a time when we're most needed.
Can I roll like an insight check on this? I know that there's going to be kind of a bane associated with this as well, but do I get a sense that the boon is worth it?
Go and make an insight check. Yes, insight would be perfect.
I got a 19.
With your 19, you are fairly certain you're dealing with something not of this plane. You're fairly certain you're dealing with something that makes deals just as part of its being. And you are dealing with something that always gets the better deal than it gives. Worth it? That's a tough one, but yes, you are fairly certain there will be some negative impact. A big one.
Well, I don't know what you guys think, but I think I may accept this deal.
Oh, good. Good. And she comes over and she says, if you'll bend down, please. And then she goes to put the necklace around your neck.
All right. Magram will get down on his knees.
Don't feel no pressure from us. In fact, I don't think you should.
I honestly think we might need whatever help we can get.
You said as she clasped the pendant around your neck. As soon as you feel it clasp, it weighs heavy against your chest, right against your sternum. It's round like an eyeball, and it just kind of bounces there against your chest. As soon as you stand up, she says, oh, would you look at that? And she points back out towards the Lady Hawk. She says, there it is. And as you look, you see the waystone. Follow that waystone. It'll take you right to Kladvina.
Okay.
Okay. Let's be on our way then.
We do have rooms upstairs if you'd care to sleep here for the night.
Lady, no offense, but hell no. I have a giant turtle shell with my name on it.
You see her give you a surprisingly wicked grin from her lined face. As she turns around, walks back in without a backwards glance, and slams the door, leaving you alone on the porch.
All right. I have a drinking game when we get back to the boat.
As soon as the door closed, lights inside were off instantly. The chimney stopped belching smoke. The home got deathly quiet. As you all made your way back to the Lady Hawk, followed the waymarker, and got as far away from this place as you could before it became too dark to continue your travels.
Okay.
The next day, as you all woke up, you were continuing down the Hydra River, thinking back on all of the craziness that happened the night before, almost thinking, was that real? Was that a dream? Did we just kind of imagine it? Until you look over at Magram and you see this eye on a pendant hanging on his chest. As you continued sailing down the river, you came to a town called Grimwater Grove. It is this city that is walled off, but it's surrounded by pools and bogs. In fact, as you approached, you could see underneath some of the bog, you could see old broken down buildings that must have been taken over by the water and by the muck. There are a few outlying villages outside of Grimwater Grove, but the majority of the city is built on stone and kind of raised up above the waters around it. The main thing that you see, like the pinnacle of this city, is this massive cathedral. From this distance, you're not quite sure who it is dedicated to, but it's definitely the largest building here in the city. But that's not what catches your eye. As you sailed past Grimwater Grove, you did notice these rows and rows of orderly tents arranged awkwardly to avoid the wet places, but where they were neat and tidy.
Are they made out of black leather?
They were made out of black leather.
They were.
They're not made out of black leather. But you did see flags that were planted in the ground, waving banners with flame motifs on them of Aona, symbols of the Krahanest, hawks, and you saw ravens, not many owls. As you were sailing by, as you were paddling by, you noticed basically 3 distinct camps of the Krahanest, and then another smaller camp that Ornan, you recognized from its different markings and different flags as a camp of Vantorians, and then even a smaller camp of Dyrinians, who are those zealous. They're the ones who started the fight in the market in Redlum. Magram, with the eye around your neck, hanging against your chest, passing by all of these Krahanest soldiers on some sort of purge, on some sort of mission. How do you feel moving through this?
Like knowing that the Krahanest is on some purge or some mission currently?
Yeah. And you're sailing right into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tremendous sense of foreboding. It's like when the sky is black with storm clouds and you're heading right towards it. Magram just feels that there is a lot of unknown and darkness ahead.
Are we heading right into the necro purge of Pithria?
As you continue sailing down the Hydra River, late in the day, it opens up into this large lake, Moonmire Lake. And as you approached, you could see the end, the destination you've been seeking for what seems like months, but has only been a couple of weeks at the most. You can see the city of Kladvina, this massive metropolis built on these islands that are connected by canals and bridges as it rises out of the surrounding lake and bog and mire all around it. You see this jewel of Pithria.
Hey, Magram, you have an extra eye. Apparently, I also get some extra eyes sometimes. That's cool. We're like twins.
Look at that.
No, yours are quite terrifying, actually.
Yeah, but at least mine are in my head.
Well, hopefully it is not a huge mistake.
As the Ladyhawk paddles across Moonmire Lake towards the docks of Kladvina and Bubbles and Jib-Jab. That's where we're going to stop for tonight.
Woo, we finally made it.
You made it to Kladvina.
Woo,
I am
spring
so
break.
excited. I'm so excited for you guys to be here. All you patrons can go check out the map of Kladvina that I put up on the wiki just a few weeks ago. It is a beautiful city made up of islands connected with canals and bridges and old buildings. And it's just kind of this massive city set out in the middle of this lake.
Also, if you want to see the clothing store that Guy used to work at, check out the Corbuli map, which also exists out on the wiki.
Yes, it does. You can look at Tollister.
For the listener, there was a bunch of extra maps that we didn't fully explore today. Paul just flashed them on the screen. So a bunch of the cities that we passed through, I have maps on there.
Yes, they have maps, they have locations. There's a couple inns on there that actually I fleshed out. All right, you guys. Well, hey, if you like what we're doing, go leave us a rating and a review. Also, consider becoming a patron. And don't forget, until we get together next time, we hope that thine time is joyous unto all. And great.